With that, I will now take my leave and invite Farid Rizwan, our Vice President of the Society, to kickstart the next session, Introduction to the CFA Program. Farid, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jihui. Morning everyone, beautiful morning everyone, and what do you call this? It's a beautiful Saturday morning, and it's really wonderful to see more than 100 of you here today. Yeah? And that is so inspiring to see how many people there are here willing to wake up at such an early morning to listen to this talk and participate in this. Now, usually when we do this, as Jihui was talking about earlier, we used to do this in large venues. So we've done it in KL Convention Center, and we packed out the entire convention center. There was so much energy. There was so much energy in those events. Even though we're here on virtual, no worries. We can still have that same energy. So let me just try something out. Everyone open up your chat boxes. So if you thought that Jihui's speech earlier on was amazing, it was extremely inspiring, I want everyone to click 1. Why don't you just press 1 on the chat box? What do you guys think? Yes, that's exactly right. So we have Nina, Ziri, and Jeannie. So many people who think that was there. So it's beautiful to see this energy, the same amount of energy going on. And that's the kind of energy that we want to sort of still incorporate in this. So it's just what I said in the beginning, and she introduced me. My name is Farid Rizwan. I'm the Vice President of the CFA Society. And what I'm going to do today, as you can see on the screen, is that I am going to be talking about the CFA program. So I'm going to introduce really quickly what the CFA program is all about. And please, leave your questions coming in on that chat box so that I can answer it. So my talk will only take about 30 minutes, and I'm going to leave plenty of time, 10 minutes. Plenty of time, 10 minutes for every question that you might have. All right, so is everyone ready to hear it? Okay, yes. So let's go into the first thing of the day. So what is the CFA in the first place? So the CFA is an education program, and it is administered by the CFA Institute, which itself is a global not-for-profit association of investment professionals that has been setting standards for professional excellence all the way since 1947. And so we are part of a very long line of professional investment professionals that have been trained by the CFA Institute. The mission of the CFA Institute is to lead the investment profession globally by promoting not just ethics, because ethics is at the core of everything we do, but also for education and professional excellence. And we all do this for the ultimate benefit of society. Very lofty goals, am I right? Very, very lofty goals. But before that, let me just take a trip down memory lane. As Jihui said once again, this is the 6th edition of the Career Carnival. This is the 6th year that we are doing this. And to be honest, I have been doing this talk since the 2nd edition. The same talk, same slot, same day, talking about the same edition. And after I do this talk, usually what I will do is I will go around. So I will go around and I'll talk to the I think 1,000. I think we had about 1,000 at one point in time. Every one time, 1,000 people, and I'll talk to them and ask them, why are you here? Why are you here today on a Saturday? You've come in, and most of them will come in with their suits, looking sharp, looking great. And I can break it down into 3 reasons. After talking to thousands of people over the years, there are 3 reasons why they would rather come to a career carnival than to go doing something much better on the weekend. Even the same thing I think applies to everyone on this virtual call today. Why would you rather be here rather than going out, maybe testing out the new SOPs for your dine-ins in the malls? So the first reason that most of the people that I talk to why do they come to this career carnival? It's because they are passionate about financial markets. They are extremely passionate about the art of investing. And they love talking about stocks. They love talking about trading. They love talking about capital markets. Because they probably want to be the next Warren Buffett. And they think of themselves as being, the next person the Bill Ackman, the next person who can identify the next Amazon, the next Apple. But either way, what they want to do, what they are united in, is that they are passionate about financial markets. The second reason why they're probably at a career carnival, at the CFA career carnival, is because they think that finance and working in finance is glamorous. And they think that it's a slice of life as that portrayed in Wolf of Wall Street. During my time, it was just Wall Street. Wall Street 1 and Wall Street 2, money never sleeps. But of course, that's way long gone. Now it's all replaced by Leonardo DiCaprio, Jordan Belfort, and Wolf of Wall Street. But they think that it's like that. And to an extent, that is true. Finance, especially if you were to look at global equities, global companies, you have to do company visits. And yes, you will be flying across, meeting hundreds of CEOs, talking to them about their business strategy. And then, as some of our charter holders here today, like Coughlin, he is constantly quoted in the papers, in the TV, on what his thoughts are about the market. So it is, there is some truth to that, to the impression that finance is a glamorous profession. So that's what they want. They come here, CFA Carnival, they talk to the employers, to the many employers that we have present with us today, because they want to live a life of that sort. The third reason, and let's be honest, the third reason why we are here at the CFA Carnival, some of you at least, is because, let's just put it out there and be frank, is because of money. So you probably read this article. You probably read an article that says that the CFA charter might be able to increase your salary. Now, I'm not saying that this is a guarantee, but I'm telling you that there is some research that shows that having a CFA charter increases average pay by about 39%. So that's according to this research. What about it? This happens, of course, globally. So this was done by the 300hours.com website, and they created this survey where they talked to about I think about 6,000 charter holders, asking them what their view was after of their salary after they took their CFA charter. In Malaysia, what about in Malaysia? That's in the US. What about in Malaysia? In Malaysia, for example, even the government via Yayasan Beraju has identified the CFA as a core focus program. And why have they done that? Because they believe that the CFA is able to upskill talent. And this is crucial, especially in the government's drive to make Malaysia a high-income nation. So those are the three reasons that you might be here today. If I am right, can I see some ones on the chat box? If you agree with any of these three reasons, can I see any ones on the chat box? All right. Oh, Jeff Tan has about 5 ones. So I guess he agrees with all. So exactly, that's right. So it's always the same. And that's exactly what we're trying to achieve over this week of the Career Carnival, to help you chase those dreams and passions. All right, so that is what we are here today. We are united because we want to chase our dreams, we want to chase our passions, and we have identified the CFA program as the way to do that. Now, I am going to talk to you, and at the end of my talk today, I want everyone to understand what the CFA program is all about. And most importantly, why it has been called the gold standard of finance by the Financial Times. And so as you can see, the 2 quotes that I have put below on this slide is that among the many finance degrees, the CFA qualification is the gold standard. And they further go on to say that those three letters give you an edge over the other graduates on the job market. That's what the Financial Times has said. Yeah? But what I want you to understand by the end of this talk, are three major things. Number one, why? Why is that so? Why is the CFA program so recognized globally? The second thing I want to talk about is what makes the CFA program so rigorous and so what is all-encompassing. And the third thing that I want to be talking about is how then do you take the CFA program? So those are the three questions that we have at the start. Why, the what, and the how. And I'm going to make sure that all of you get those answers crystal clear by the end of my 30-minute session. All right, with that, let's just jump into the why. Why is the CFA program so loved across the globe? The simple answer is recognition. It's recognized not just by universities, but it's also recognized by regulators and most importantly, of course, by employers. So for example, let's focus on universities, on the academics. There are over 650 universities across the world that have incorporated more than 70% of the CFA program syllabus. So these are what we call our affiliated universities. Now this is also the same case here in Malaysia, and very, very important for all of you watching this who are students. Why? Why is it really important to know whether you are a student of any one of these 12 universities that I've shown on the screen and counting? Yeah. So there are 12 universities currently which are university affiliated partners, and if you're a student at one of these, keep that in mind, because after my talk, I would suggest that you go and meet the CFA Society Malaysia lounge table and talk to some of our staff and ask them about a little thing called scholarships. I'm not going to go too much into detail on that, but then just keep that word in mind, all right? And who doesn't love that word, especially the one starting with an S? The second thing we're going to talk about is regulators. It's also recognized by regulators. Now, why is this so important? Because the finance industry is an extremely regulated activity. In fact, that's what the SE calls it. Investment advice, fund management, these are all called regulated activities by the Securities Commission. And it's not just here in Malaysia, but it's across the globe, where more than 60 country regulators have recognized the CFA. And what does that mean to you? Now, for those of you who are students again, or for those of you who are already working professionals, if you were really looking forward to your final year, because to you that final year meant the end of exams, that you'll never have to sit for an exam again, well, I'm really sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Exams never stop. Even after you've graduated, exams never stop. And that's especially true also in the finance industry, because you have constant licensing exams that you have to sit through, simply because managing money is a huge responsibility. So that's the bad news. Exams never stop. Well, let me tell you the good news. The good news is that if you were to get the CFA charter, you will be granted an exemption. You will be granted an exemption for not one, but four licensing examinations. So that is a huge amount of time saving. So for those of you who hate exams, this is perfect, right? Because you study for one and you can sort of get four licenses free. And that's something that you can't say much nowadays. And finally, of course, the CFA is so valued across the world because it itself is so valued by employers. So many employers ranging in different diverse sectors, from investment banking all the way to your big four, PwC, EY, and so on and so forth, have looked at the CFA as a preferred sort of a step in. So it signals to all these employers that you have the knowledge, you have gone through the rigor of the program, and you are able to take on the challenges that the workplace provides. So that's globally. In Malaysia, and we have some of these employers here today talking about why they, what are the opportunities in their organizations. And we have huge companies which also prioritize the CFA, especially when they want to hire investment professionals. Now, it's not a guarantee that you'll get in through the door. Now, let me make that clear. But let me tell you that it helps you stand out from the many applicants who want to break into the industry. So, for example, we have PNB, we'll be talking later on today. BNM is also a major employer of CFA charter holders. All right. So who then earns this charter, this CFA charter? Who then goes through this process? Once again, it's open to all. So you have ranging from students who want to break into the finance or investment profession, to those who want to switch jobs, to those who want to switch job. Maybe they're outside of the investment profession, but maybe they wanted to be number two. Yeah, they wanted to be the glamorous life, for example. Maybe they've watched too many finance movies, for example. So they want to make the switch to becoming an investment professional. And that's also another group or category who takes the CFA charter. Finally, of course, we have the investment professionals themselves. So those who come in as junior, or when I mean junior, it's not just in age, but in terms of experience. Coming in as junior investment analysts, junior portfolio managers, they need to educate themselves, because this, and let me tell you from experience, is not an easy game. Outperforming is not an easy game. Stock picking is not an easy game. Managing portfolios is not an easy game. All right. Speaking about that, what sort of roles are our charter holders in? Now, because it's in the name itself, Chartered Financial Analyst, it's obviously it's obviously important to understand that most of the charter holders will be working in the financial analysis industry. So the largest number of our charter holders are in the fund management category. All right. So the fund management category has it because the CFA program, at the end of the day, the objective is to teach you how to manage a pool of money. That's right. So if you were to give somebody 100,000 ringgit, and you just imagine that happening across the country, so that's what we call our pensions. So you give all of this money to one organization. How will that organization manage your money? So that's why the CFA trains you to be. But that's not the only thing that it does. A lot of the skills, and I'll be going into this in just a few slides, a lot of the skills that you learn in the CFA curriculum is extremely transferable across industries. So you can be a sell-side research analyst or a buy-side research analyst, but you can also be a corporate finance consultant, because that's also where a large portion of our charter holders are working in. That's the area. Even some investor relations, corporate development, and most importantly, strategy. Because reading, being able to understand and analyze financial statements, the language of business, is crucial if you want to be a strategy, playing a strategy role, and ultimately being a CFO or a CEO. So those are the roles that they do. In Malaysia, that's also mirrored. We also see the largest portion of our charter holders here in Malaysia being in the fund management category and the research analyst category. So that's what we collectively call the buy side and the sell side. But most importantly, rounding up the top three charter holder job roles is an investment banking analyst. So a large portion of our charter holders, about 10%, are in the investment banking industry. And they are actually a very small elite group here in Malaysia. There are only 850 members, charter holders here in Malaysia. Yeah. In Singapore, 4,000. As the joke goes, if you were to throw a stone, across the causeway, you're probably going to hit a CFA charter holder. Yeah? Your probability of doing that is even higher in Hong Kong, for example, with 6,000. Yeah, it's harder to find somebody without a CFA charter than it is to find a firm. All right, so but that's here. Yeah? That's here in Malaysia. That's here in Malaysia. But I want to tell you a little secret. I want to tell you a little secret here on a Saturday morning. Yeah? Do you know that only 60% of our charter holders that study in Malaysia work here in Malaysia? Where do you think the rest of them are? The other 40% are working abroad. Because the CFA charter is the same across the world. It's the same globally. It's the same globally. So a large portion of our charter holders are also working in the finance industry abroad. Now, whether it's an hour's plane flight or 8 hours plane flight, that's something that I think you guys can probably guess. But what's most important takeaway from this is to know that it is a global passport that opens the doors across the world. And so the famous joke here is that once you get your CFA charter, don't forget to also get your vaccination, because if you want to work overseas, you got to have both. All right. So that is in a nutshell why you probably want to be taking the CFA charter. All right. Now let's go on to part number 2, segment number 2. Yeah. What makes the CFA curriculum, the CFA program so valued by regulators, by universities, and by employers? Why? The reason is simply because of its rigor and depth. Yeah? So it's not just the depth of knowledge that you will get at the end of your journey, your CFA journey, but it's also the breadth. So there are 10 curriculum topics. There are 10 curriculum topics, and they range from quantitative methods to economics to, of course, financial reporting and analysis, all the way to portfolio management and wealth planning. So it is extremely diverse, and it covers everything that you need in order to be a financial analyst. So once again, as I said, it gives you all the tools that you need in order to know what to do when somebody hands you a pile of money and say, manage this for me. Now, if you were to think about it, that is a huge responsibility, because think about how hard you work for your money, right? Yeah. So you make that money, and then what you want to do is that you want to save or you invest that money. And the reason you invest money is because you need that money to grow in order to achieve your dreams. Be it either to send your children to college, give them a great education, or maybe it's to grow your money so that you can buy a house of your own in the future, and so on and so forth. This all of these dreams, all of these dreams and hopes is what you also give to that person to manage when you hand him that pile of money. And that is a huge responsibility. And that is also why there is a very, very big emphasis on ethics and professional standards in the curriculum. And that's also a large portion of why it is so valued by by employers, because it teaches you. It teaches you how do you then think in a structured manner when you are faced with an ethical dilemma, for example. Now that's a whole different topic on its own, and if you were to get me started on that, it will take me another hour. So let me just hold on to that at this point in time. All right. So most importantly, you have your finance subjects, but it all falls under the umbrella of ethics and professional standards. Now this will be spread across 3 levels: level 1, level 2, level 3. And of course, it will be increasing in difficulty as you go from 1 to 3. Now, here is the beautiful thing. Now, here is the absolutely most beautiful thing about the CFA program. Level 1 gives you all the fundamental knowledge that you need. So it doesn't matter if you're coming from an arts background, if you're coming from a medical background, from an engineering background. Level 1 puts you all on the same level. To sort of not reuse the words, it all puts you all on the same page. It gives you, it really trains you from the absolute basics. What is the discount rate? What is the time value of money? How do you then, use that concept of discounting into valuation, into understanding how to value any financial asset? So that is the beauty of the CFA program. It's suitable from anyone, from your absolute beginners all the way to your experienced professional. All right. So if you are from a different background that doesn't have accounting or finance, don't worry. The CFA level 1 will bring you up to speed very, very structurally, in a structured manner. In fact, let me just share with you, when I did my CFA level 1 a few generations ago, the best student in my class was actually a lawyer. So he had a legal background, and his famous saying was, I cannot see numbers. Well, this is a guy who also got more than 70, or a distinction in all of his subjects. So if you were to put in the effort, you will be there. Now, for those of you who are already in the industry, why bother? Why do you want to take this? I mean, as I talked about it earlier on, the CFA Institute has been around since 1947. The exams have been around since 1963. 1963. Why do I want to learn something that a person in 1963 learned? Well, that is not exactly true, because the curriculum is constantly updated. It is constantly updated to make sure that it reflects the developments in the finance industry as closely as possible. So, for example, some of the recent curriculum highlights that have been updated are that, like your machine learning, big data, fintech in investment management. So all of these buzzwords are in there. So it gives you a good grounding into understanding what are the new developments for your CFA program. So an extremely updated curriculum. So don't worry about that. All right. So now we talked a little bit about NLP, computer vision. All of these are all inside. But what I want to really bring to your attention is this. So right now, there is a increased awareness of becoming more sustainable. And this awareness is also becoming increasingly important to investors. All right, to investors. Who of you here? We're just gonna see. I'm just gonna see on the chat box once again. Who of you here has not used a straw in the past 2 years? A plastic straw in the past 2 years? Let me have a look. Let me have a look at that. Exactly right. Who is? I have not used a straw. I haven't seen a straw in 2 years. I mean, and you are talking to one of the biggest fans of fast food. So I haven't seen a straw in 2 years. Well, that thinking has really permeated into investment. You can see, and this is a trend that's going on across the world, where it is not just important for you to know that you are growing your money for your dreams, for your own hopes and dreams. It's also important, increasingly important, to some people that money is being used in the right way, So that gave birth to the whole study of ESG, environmental, social, and governance. I'm sure everyone has heard of these three letters. After, of course, the other three letters, which is the CFA. Yeah? So ESG is so important at this point in time. Now, one part I want to talk about is that third column, which is the last column all the way from the left. Yeah? The percentage of postings seeking expertise, 18%, 10%. The growth of ESG focused fund managers has exploded in the last years. The CFA program has understood that, and that's why there's also a very, very dedicated section in the curriculum to understanding what are the challenges of ESG. Yeah, and how then do you incorporate these ESG challenges into your evaluation, into your analysis? That is so important. All right, so that is a little bit, in a nutshell, about why you should take the program and what the program is all about. I'm sure everyone is now excited about how to then take this CFA program. Am I right? So if you are excited, once again, let me just see a little one down there. Yeah? Who's excited to sort of start on this journey? All right, Afiq is there, Nina is there. Oh wow, this is hopefully I'm doing something right. Yeah? Hopefully I'm doing something right. I managed to help you guys be a little bit more confident that you have made the right choice in taking the CFA program. All right, so let's get into it. Who can enroll into the CFA program? Yeah? So there are three requirements. Yeah? You don't need to fulfill all. You need to fulfill either one. So you must meet one of these enrollment requirements of the CFA program. Number one is you must either be a recent graduate. So you must have completed a bachelor's degree. Number two, your exam window must be 11 months or less before your graduation month. So I know that's a long-winded way of just simply saying you should be in your final year as a student if you want to take the level 1 of the CFA. So if you are a final year student and you want to get a head start against all your peers, and you want to be able to show to the prospective employers when you apply for a job that, hey, you know what? I'm not coming in as a fresh grad. I'm coming in with somebody with a CFA level 1 level of education. You have to be in your final year. Yeah. So purely, we welcome you. We welcome you to take it. The third one, of course, is that if you have a combination of 48 months of a full-time professional working experience, so if you, for any reason, don't have a degree, that's no issue whatsoever. You just need 48 months of full-time professional working experience, and that is also accepted as part of the enrollment requirements. Because once again, as I said, everyone will be brought up to the same page. So you don't have to worry about that. And how then? Let me just put it on the chart. What you see on this slide over here is a simple illustration of what the journey will look like for you to become a CFA charter holder. Number one, of course, you got to pass the exams. That's without fail. Number two is then you got to be a regular member. Now, what regular member means is that you have to make sure that you do not have any ethical violation. So you have to sign off on what you call a professional conduct statement. And you have to remain in good standing. So no embezzlement, no fraud, and etc. And please don't go to jail. That's like a don't-know, if you want to be a charter holder. And of course, the third one is that you have to complete 4,000 hours of relevant experience. Now, what is relevant experience? Now, I'm not going to go into detail for that today, and that's why I need you to work with me and go on to the CFA booth in the lounge and ask the staff over there about this portion in more detail. And of course, you got to get some references. All right. Now, into the test itself. So that's, it's a combination of both experience, working experience, professional experience, as well as an exam. Now, right now, I want to focus on what the exam is all about, because that is your first hurdle. Yeah, that is the biggest hurdle to becoming a CFA charter holder. Now, the format of the exam has changed. Yeah, it has moved on with the times, just like any other sort of professional organization. It has to move with the times. No longer is it a paper-based exam. It is now a computer-based test. It is now a computer-based test. So right now it's COVID. So COVID is extremely scary. Nobody wants to be sitting next to each other. Don't worry, because these these tests, these computer-based tests, are all administered in a COVID-safe environment. So it's all socially distant, and to make it easier for everyone, in terms of flexibility, there is also a multi-day exam window. So you can now select the day as well as the session of the exam that you want to take. So it's no longer like last time where it used to be just one day in a year. You either make it or you break it. No worries. Now there is a lot more flexibility in your choice of. So the exam is about 2.5 hour sessions. So they are split into two sessions, 2.5 hour sessions, and the exam will be multiple choice for level 1, level 2, whereas for level 3 there is an essay. There is an essay portion of the exam. Now, let us talk about the exam schedule. Unfortunately, I have to say that for 2021, all the windows are closed. So we had an extra one this year, actually, which was in May, in July. So there was an extra one session this year in July because there were a lot of deferrals. So unfortunately, all of that is closed. So we have to be looking at 2022 for our next exam period. That will be in February. So for level 1 and level 2, you will be sitting for it in February 2022, or you can also choose to sit for a level 1 in May 2022. All right, and these are some of the key deadlines. The first early registration deadline, the early bird deadline for the February 2022 program is unfortunately past us. We've already passed that, but you are still in time for the standard deadline, which will end on the 26th of October 2021. So your exam window will then be next year, 15 to the 21st of February 2022. You then get your exam results 6 to 7 weeks later, and this will be what determines whether you can go on to the next level or not. So take your time, talk to some of our career counselors, ask them about their journey, talk to our staff, ask them about what the exam is like, what the process is like, and most importantly, talk to our prep providers also to ask them what are the kind of methods of assistance that our prep providers can extend to you to take on this massive challenge of the CFA exams. All right, so this is the pathing diagram. I just want to focus on the first one, level 1 at this point in time. Now, of course, all of this, now we finally come to the hard sell, to the hard part, which is the price. It's all in US dollars. It's all in US dollars. So it's about a $450 one-time enrollment fee. And if you were to register for the February exam, that will be the standard registration fee of $1,000 US. If you were to register for the May 2022 exam, that will be an early bird discount of $700 US. All right, so I'm not going to beat around the bush and say it's cheap, but it is a lot cheaper than taking a master's, for example, or like dedicating a large portion of your time with other programs. And it is required to also inform you that there are scholarships available. That was my big reveal, guys. So there are two scholarships that I really want to talk about. access scholarships and student scholarships, because it was expensive, isn't it? About $1,000. So access scholarships and student.
I think I'll just invite Shafika to answer those Q&A first.
Hi, can you see me? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, so far it must have been some technical glitch from his end or connection problem. So I'm just gonna assist on answering some of the Q&A regarding the CFA program. So let me just go one by one.
I
Okay.
think Shafika, you can just go on those upvote. I'll help you to show the question on stage.
Sorry?
Okay, this
Okay.
okay.
I think this one, it would be better for the charter holders to address this, but probably I can just go through the Q&A questions regarding the CFA program on how to register, on the materials and such resources as well. So maybe I can just go through the Q&A section, yeah? Okay. So from
This is the first questions.
Ahmad Affan, how to self-register for CFA. So, okay, thanks, Queenie. For you to register for the CFA program, you will need to go to the CFA Institute website, and then it is only online registration. There is no manual registration, so you can just register yourself directly in the CFA Institute website. Can you go to the next question?
I think we answer one more question, then we proceed to the next session.
Sure. I think regarding the access scholarship, probably you can go to my help desk later on after the knowledge provider Wiley session. So one more question, can you go to, okay, is there any age limit for the CFA program? There is no age limit. If you notice that we have charter holders or even candidates that pursue the CFA program even after even in the mid 30s, and there is no limited time frame for you to complete the whole CFA program for level 1, 2, and 3. So it is up to you how do you want to do a self study for it. Because you will need to know how to manage your time from your end. So there is no time limitation in terms of that. So I guess right now, probably Queenie, you can just the floor is yours, so we can address the questions later on. For those who are asking the questions regarding the CFA program, definitely you can go to our help desk later on at 11:30 or to 1:30 p.m. So anything you can just let us know, or just you can just ask us questions at the help desk there.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm back. Something happened to my internet. I think it just like cut off.
Oh yeah. Okay. So so
That's why.
Farid, so
This is why Murphy
maybe
is
you
not.
just answer one of the
Yeah.
question and then
Why
we
don't I
go to the
just
next
yeah,
session.
sure. Why don't I just finish it up very quickly, and then because there's some like one last thing which I want to talk about, and then after that let us dive right into the session for about a few minutes. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So just allow me one more time. Sorry, I really apologize for that, guys. This happens. They don't teach you in the CFA, unfortunately, how to deal with internet problems. That's under the something else, I would say. All right. Anyways, come. Let's get back to it. So where are we? Scholarships. So you saw my colleague earlier on, yeah, Sharifika. Please do talk to her, because if there's one thing that she loves to talk about besides fashion, handbags, and makeup, it's scholarships. So talk to her about it. Yeah. It's not just also about money. It's also about time, because it takes up about 300 hours of study. And so the reason why I really wanted to talk about this one is because if you come in to the CFA program, come in with a mindset that you have to be dedicated and to make sure that you'll be able to power through and put in that discipline to put in the hours so that you can pass the exam. Because it's not an easy exam. But we're not going to go into this too much. What I do want to talk to you about is this. So, how do you prepare for the exam? It's really important to know how to prepare for the exam because of its rigor and its difficulty. Number one is that the CFA is developed as a self-study tool. the self-study tool. So you will be able to use the website, the learning ecosystem as they call it, to self-study for the official syllabus. Alternatively, if you're like me, for example, who loves to discuss, who loves to talk about the concepts, because it helps me understand a lot better, please have a talk with our prep providers. Either can be Ferrix, formerly known as Melvin. We can talk to Noesis, talk to Sunway Test, talk to Tai UC. All of them are here today, and to give you a insight into how they can help you pass the exam at one go, because it's not cheap. Do it once, get it over with. All right. Now, that's just a summary of what we talked about. Because of time constraints, I'm not going to go too much into that. And now we're going to go straight into Q&A. But before that, of course, follow us on our social media, which you can see at this point in time. All right, so we have the some of the questions. So I'm going to go to vote. So I'm going to look at those questions and see which one are the most upvoted questions, and I am going to take the first one. Unfortunately, we only have time for one. So number one was, what is the most challenging topic when you were studying? All right, so for me, the most challenging topic was ethics. Was ethics and professional standards. And why do I say this? Because ethics is number one, it is something that we have never done before. So we have never studied this in our universities. I don't think it's in any of the curriculums at this point in time for ethics. So it was completely new to me. And some of the scenarios that were presented in the ethics were extremely relevant to real life, in that it was what seemed like a gray area. So it can either be yes or be a no. So the reason why I say the CFA really helped me in this is because it lays out very, very clearly and in a structured manner, how do I turn such a gray area like ethics, ethical dilemmas, into a process-driven decision for me to understand, hey, this is not ethical, this is ethical. This is not what I should do, this is what I should not do. So that is my answer to you, Jasper Tien. Thank you very much for that question. Okay, so I would love to answer all of these fantastic questions, but unfortunately, due to the cut earlier on, please reach out to me. I'll be in one of the lounges and sessions. And over to you, Queenie. Sorry for taking up a little bit more time than expected.
No worries. Thank you, Farid.